Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Beyond the Cage podcast presented by Fight Chicks. I am your host, Jim Graham. Joining me on the line, we have a special guest. He will be making his second fight in the UFC at the UFC Fight Night Boston on Sunday, January 18th against Perez. He is Mr. Johnny Case. And Johnny, thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Now, of course, Johnny, when we talked to you last, that was all the way back in September, and of course we had a couple of holidays pass, one of them being Halloween. So did you do anything special with Halloween with you and your boys?
Yeah, I gotta go home, take the kids trick-or-treating, and just kind of relax, enjoy some nice family time, some good food, a lot of candy. We all three went as Spider-Man. They're kind of in a big Spider-Man kick, so all three of us went as Spider-Man. Good time.
Now, were you all wearing the traditional red and blue costume, or did you have some variations there?
Oh no, we all went the same one, top of the line, best one we could find. Had to be as realistic as possible.
Oh, for sure. Did you have any fake web shooters or anything?
Yeah, we had the silly string web shooters and everything, man. We went all out. Spoiled them.
That's awesome. Of course, your Thanksgiving was good?
Yeah, Thanksgiving was great. Again, I got to go home and I got to be with the boys and family and eat some good food and just relax. And yeah, Thanksgiving was great. Unfortunately, Christmas and New Year, I didn't get a chance to go home. I had to be here at the gym working hard to make sure I'm prepared for this fight. But that's okay. I mean, we'll get home and we'll have some making up to do. But it's just going to make me that much more hungry come the 18th, January.
Absolutely. And did you get anything neat for Christmas, or did you give any cool gifts?
No, man, not really. I just another day for me. It was just another two-a-day and, grilled chicken and quinoa. That's about it, man. Nothing too extravagant. No real gifts. Little heathen Jeremy Stevens got me some nice gifts, but that's about it, man. Just kind of other than that, just did my own thing. It's just another day for me.
All right, now of course your first ever UFC fight was all the way over in Japan, and just before we get to kind of talking about the fight there, just tell us, what was it like? Being in Japan, what did you do? What did you see? What was different kind of about the culture, and what did you do to kind of spend some time there and have some fun before your fight?
Japan was amazing. Everything from the airplane ride over to all the fans, all the people. I mean, it was just amazing. It did take about 3 days, 3.5, 4 days to kind of recover from the jet lag and the time change and everything, but as soon as everything was good there, I mean, it just kind of clicked. The fans are so respectful over there. They treat all the, it was my debut. I wasn't even well known, especially in Japan. And, I had multiple fans grab me out of, the lobby and take pictures and autographs, and just the level of the respect that they have for the MMA fighters over there is just outstanding. And it made it really cool and made me feel like Japan really welcomed me.
And just what was Tokyo like? That's one of the largest cities in the world. 30 million people or something. Was that a trip just seeing what goes on there in Tokyo?
Yeah, man, it was really trippy. There was one thing that really stuck out to me. Everybody over there, it seemed like everybody, they're either half the time they're wearing those masks, that they wear because of the pollution of all the people over there. The other half, they seemed like they were smoking. So when they didn't have the mask on, they were smoking cigarettes, and when they weren't smoking cigarettes, they had their masks on. It was kind of it just seemed a bit odd and counterproductive to me. But yeah, Japan was so cool, man. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. Just the architecture over there, and all the way their buildings are laid out. It's almost like it's just on top of everything's on top of each other. Everything's built really efficiently, and they use their space a lot more efficiently than they would over here in the United States, so to say. So I mean, yeah, experience was amazing. I really hope I get to go back to Japan one day. I would love to fight in Japan again, definitely.
Now, of course, looking at your fight, you took on Koski Tugadome, and looking at that fight, he had you in a little trouble early on. He had you with that takedown there. He was on top, controlling you a little bit, but you were able to get out of that situation. And I think from that play, I don't know if he was winded or maybe he was taken aback that you were able to get up from out from under him. But you really seemed to take over the fight from that standpoint, using some great stand-up and especially some great kicks. And then you kind of got him up against that guillotine choke and got him to tap there at the 234 marker. And, was that kind of your thing that if you could keep the fight on the feet, that you would have a lot of success against him?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I would say that looking back, the turning point of the fight was when I was fouled. He had an inadvertent low kick. He kicked me in the groin. And up to that point, it was almost like I was trying to play chess with him. I was trying to set things up. I was trying to read. I was trying to figure things out. And then I got fouled. I got kicked in the groin, and I just remember I was like, "This is a fight. This isn't strategy. This isn't practice. I'm trying to knock his ass out." And as soon as that kind of clicked for me, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a fight." It just seemed like I was able to really sit down on my punches. I had bad intent. You can even see it in the video. Before I was just kind of throwing lackluster shots and not really trying to put them away. And then I was fouled, and then it was like, okay, game time. We're serious now. It's time to put you away. So for me, I think that was really the pivotal point in the fight. And it was just a matter of me going out there and trying to finish the fight rather than just trying to score points.
All right, now for this fight coming up here in Boston, I believe you've had 3 different opponents scheduled to take you on for Sunday, January 18th. It looks as though, who knows, I guess it could change for you here, that you should be taking on Frankie Perez. Has that changed your preparation for this at all, having that many opponents kind of change on you?
Correct. Yeah, it is my third guy. And, to answer your question, no, not really. I never really am too concerned about my opponents. Whatever my opponents do, that's kind of out of my hands, Sure, there's game planning that goes into styles. And my original opponent, Paul Felder, would have been a kickboxing match. And so I was really just kind of embracing the fact that it was going to be kind of a grinding fight. I was going to have to get gritty with it and probably take some shots to give some shots. And it looks like this guy, Perez, is more ground towards another ground guy. So, it does change my style a little bit, like going into game plan, like what to expect. But in the end of the day, the only thing I'm concerned with is myself and my preparation and what I need to do to go out there and get the job done.
Now, of course, with that many changes and, people dropping out, did you think there was a chance that you wouldn't fight on the 18th, that you would have to be either moved to another card or, you would just have to wait longer to get back in the octagon?
Yeah, it kind of crossed my mind, because I at first, I think they gave it like 3.5 or 4 week notice or something when my second opponent was dropped out. So, to be honest, they were either gonna somebody that was, just coming off of a fight, or they were going to find somebody who was, just practicing and not really having a full camp. So, for me, it was kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll get bumped back. Maybe they'll find somebody. I didn't really know, but I knew it could have been a possibility. But for me, it was just whatever. I just kept training, just kept going as if everything was going full gear ahead. So, I didn't really concern myself, but I thought it could have been a possibility. I could have been backed up.
Now that the fact you've already had a fight in the UFC, does this feel different than the one you had against Tugadome? Do you feel more, hate to say confident because you are confident of your abilities, but do you feel more relaxed and kind of at ease now that you've kind of got that first fight out of the way and you can kind of just get back to business and it's just another fight?
Yes, that's a good word, relaxed. I would say before I kind of felt almost like I had something to prove, more like I had to prove to myself, but I also had to prove to the coaches out here. I had to prove to my team that I was a performer. I wasn't just someone who would look good in the practice room, but somebody that could turn it on the fight. And now that I have, I got the vow of confidence from my coaches. I got the vow of confidence from my teammate. And, yeah, now it feels like I don't have as much I need to prove anymore. You know, I feel like everybody accepts me. Everybody, you know, realizes the talent I have. And, yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I feel like I don't have to go out of my way, so to say, to impress or go out of my way to let people know that I'm here and I mean business.
Now, we're a little over a week until weigh-ins in Boston, but how's your weight doing right now?
Outstanding. It was, to tell you the truth, I thought it was going to be a really tough one. I was having some issues there being, you know, I would fluctuate from 75 to 80. I could not break the 175 mark for the life of me. And it actually just turned on this Monday. I woke up and I was at 172. So that's right perfectly where I need to be. It just happened to be a little bit late in the camp that I dialed in. Normally I get to that down to 72. At least, you know, by the 3 weeks out, I can see 172. And when I wasn't breaking 175, I started to get a bit nervous. But yeah, everything's falling into place nicely.
Now, of course, your fight is in Boston. Have you been to Boston before? And if you haven't, are you looking forward to visiting any of kind of the historic sites that our country has to offer in that city?
Exactly. No, I've never even been to the East Coast, and I'm very, very much looking forward to going to Boston. I mean, any of the I'm a big history buff, and anything dealing with like the colony states, anything like that, is really interesting to me. So yeah, hopefully I get a little bit of time to go out and explore a little bit. I know it's probably going to be really cold, and I'm going to be cutting weight and not wanting to get sick and, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm going to try to go out and try to see some stuff, see what I can see, and I'm just excited to go over there and see how the people are over there and kind of the way they live in over on the East Coast.
Now, have you been practicing your Boston accent at all?
No, not too much. Not too much. Figured I don't want to offend anybody trying to sound too Irish or too over the top over there.
All right. Now, I don't know if you think about this too much. Some fighters do, some fighters don't. But I wanted to at least give you a suggestion for your walkout song. It has a couple of different things to plan. One, it's a great band. It's by the Dropkick Murphys. Two, obviously, Dropkick Murphys are from Boston. And three, the name of the song is Johnny, I Hardly Knew Ya, that being your first name. So if you get a chance, if you don't know the song already, check it out, Johnny, I Hardly Knew Ya by the Dropkick Murphys. Let me know what you think. And I just think that would be a perfect song for UFN Boston. I think the fans will go crazy for that.
You think so? Huh? Yeah, I actually had some fans suggest that one to me already, and I've kind of been contemplating that. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. I like that one.
All right. Well, the main event of UFC Fight Night Boston, Conor McGregor, the notorious one, he is taking on Dennis Seaver at 145 pounds. And what do you think about that one?
I think that's going to be a great fight. You know, got two stand-up guys going to go clashing at it head-to-head. And, you know, Conor is really, he's really, you either love him or you hate him. And I'm a believer. I like the way he fights, and I'm excited to see him get in there and mix it up with another kickboxer. I'm hoping for a war between the two. You know, I hope they really sell the fight and they give the fans what they want, which is knockdown, drag out, exciting, entertaining fight. So yeah, I mean, I'm a believer, like I said, in Conor McGregor. I hope he comes out on top, and I think he's got what it takes to really make a run on the division.
Jim Graham here for Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks, talking with Johnny Case. You can follow him on Twitter at Hollywood Case. And I know he just fought one of your teammates there in Miles Jury, but you got to respect. How do you like Donald Cerrone? Just a couple days after fighting Miles, he's now taking on Ben Henderson in the co-main event. I mean, that's awfully impressive, don't you think?
That's very admirable. Yes, everybody knew Donald's as tough as they come. You know, he's a badass of all badasses. Yeah, unfortunately, he did just get a win over my teammate, but you know, that's the business. That's the nature of our business. You know, that's what we're into. It's nothing personal. It's business. We get in there and we try to kick each other's ass, you know, and we put on a show and we get paid for doing so. So, I mean, I don't have any ill will or any you know, hard feelings against Cowboy at all. And for him to take another fight like that back to back, it just shows it's a testament of who he is as a person and just how badass of a fighter he really is, you know. Especially going in against Henderson, who already beat him twice in the WEC. You know, that's that could play a big thing mentally, on any fighter, given a full weight camp, a full fight camp. If I know the guy beat me twice before and I have a full camp to prepare myself, I'm still going to have that thought in the back of my head thinking, what if, he beat me twice before, we'll see how this one goes. But for him to just come off of a huge win over Miles, who, in my opinion, I think Miles was a tougher fight than Henderson, respectfully saying that. But for him to just jump on the board like that, I mean, yeah, that's pretty intense. And it just goes to show how much of a badass Cowboy Cerrone really is,
Absolutely. And just real quickly looking at, Miles' performance there, what did you think about the performance? It didn't seem to me, kind of from the outside looking in at some of the stats, it just didn't seem like kind of that same effort to kind of move forward and throw a lot of punches and bunches. It didn't seem to be there as much as we had seen, obviously, in the Gomi fight where he got the knockout, or even in the Diego Sanchez fight where he's really kind of moving forward. Do you think that maybe was, his downfall in the fight, or do you think it was something else?
I think the first round kind of really threw Miles out of his game. I think he was expecting a stand-up, back-and-forth kind of fight where he was going to be using his footwork and trying to counter-strike Cowboy. And he ended up being taken down and fighting off Diego Plata, and then, Cowboy took his back, and that's pretty much how the whole round went. It was just Cowboy on his back with the body triangle. So I think that kind of set the tempo for Miles and made him realize, I'm in a grappling match. And I thought it was going to be a kickboxing match. So then I thought second round he looked a lot better. He kind of was setting his groove. And then third round I just don't think he played his game. I think he was too worried, too concerned about what Cowboy was going to do instead of out there just opening up and turning it into a dogfight like I think he really needed to. He was down. Arguably, he was down 2 rounds. If not, it was at least tied up, and he really needed the third round. So I think at the end of the day, Miles is an outstanding mixed martial artist, but you got to know when it's time to just, throw caution to the wind and try to knock her out. That's at the end of the day, I think that's what Miles needed to do that he didn't. No doubt in my mind, Miles is going to come back twice as he's twice as better as he was before. But Miles, I think he realized that as well. There's a time when you need to be a smart, safe fighter, fight strategically, and then there's a time where you just need to go out there and you need to try to knock his head off.
All right, Johnny, I'll get you out of here with this. Of course, the news broke yesterday that John Jones, UFC light heavyweight champion, had tested positive in a pre-fight drug test for cocaine. He has now entered rehab following his win at UFC 182 over Daniel Cormier. There's a lot of people's thoughts and opinions there, whether he should be suspended, fined, his title should be stripped, all that stuff. Why isn't he facing a current suspension when other fighters for substances that aren't performance-enhancing drugs, such as marijuana, have been, kind of been the books thrown at them, but yet John Jones, as of right now, seems to not get any sort of punishment. Just kind of what is your thoughts on this whole John Jones situation?
I think it's a bad deal. I don't have any judgment towards John Jones. What he does in his life is what he does. It's none of my business, and I'm not going to try to tell any grown man what they should or shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, he is, he's a role model as far as it's concerned to a lot of fans and to a lot of younger kids. So I think that's bad as far as that is concerned. But then again, the media's got to realize we're not a bunch of kindergarten teachers. We're not out there trying to say that we're going to be, fine, outstanding citizens. We're fighters. We get in there and we try to knock each other out, try to knock each other unconscious. So, it's a little bit barbaric, so to say, than the average Joe is anyway. So, it doesn't really surprise me that fighters are out there partying, fighters are out there, doing drugs. It's not something I condone or something that I would say, yeah, it's really cool to do cocaine or anything like that. But I don't blame the guy. I don't think he's doing anything anybody else isn't doing. I just think that because he's in the position that he's in, it's really going to hurt his image. It's really going to be bad for the sport. And I think the UFC really has no choice but to do something about it. To do some disciplinary actions towards that, because if they're trying to mainstream the sport like they are, making it like the NFL, like the MLB, NBA, stuff like that, we hold those athletes to a higher standard. So, I mean, we really have no choice but to do the same with Bones. That being said, I really hope that if it's a problem, he goes and gets help. If it was just he was out partying and made a slip, did some cocaine, and got popped at the wrong time, I hope he learns from his mistakes and, he's going to be a lot more careful in the future. So I wish him the best. I hope he has a good recovery, and hope he can just put this behind him and focus on what he needs to do, getting back to the UFC and the respect of the fans that he so deservingly, he's deserving of, because John Bones Jones is, best pound for pound fighter in the world, in my opinion. So that being said, I just hope he gets the help he needs and he can put this behind him.
He is Johnny Hollywood Case. You can catch his fight against Frankie Perez on the UFC Fight Night of Boston prelims, which start at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. You can follow him on Twitter at Hollywood Case, and he is also on the Score app and website as well. Johnny, thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it and wish you the best of luck against Mr. Perez come the Sunday, January 18th.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, that was Johnny Case right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks.